All right, and just like that, we are live. Let's get into it, guys. All right, we're gonna have a pretty quick night. Okay, so I'm just gonna start by saying, hey, Freedom Frugalers, it is time for another episode of Frugal Freedom, where I teach you how to manage both your time and your finances effectively, and in doing both, you'll sooner than later be free. Okay, now who am I? I am your virtual mentor, Izzy, and guess what? Today we're gonna be learning, and actually we're gonna be diverting from actual budgeting. Okay, we're gonna be taking some lessons from this book right here. I don't know if you guys can see it because it's a bit delayed on my screen, but this book right here is The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. Okay, this is an amazing book, guys. It teaches you nothing about budgeting, but rather removing yourself from budgeting as a whole. Okay, we're gonna get started with that, but before we do, make sure you grab my free budgeting worksheet. It is a simple step-by-step budgeting guide that walks you through an easy way to budget and still have fun. Whether you're low on income or you're looking to pay down debts or even just figuring out how to justify your nights and weekends out, this guide will certainly help you, and it is the cornerstone of everything that I will be teaching within these next few days. Okay, so let's take a step back. All right, so we learned about what 50, 30, 20 budgeting, right? We learned that while it's cool, you can't simply categorize your life into three categories if you're not the elite of frugals. We also learned about the envelope method, which that's cool and all. That's how I got started, but it does require cash, and you can lose your insurance on that, which means you can't get it back, and it can also be stolen, or you can lose it from yourself. You can hide it too good from yourself. So good method. And then we also learned about zero sum budgeting from I learned it from Dave Ramsey, but I don't know where it came from. But we learned about zero sum budgeting, where we take our budget and we take our money and we zero it out so that our account is zeroed out, but we give every single dollar a job. Okay, so in all three of those methods, it did require that we put just a little bit of work and a little bit of effort in. But I'm here to say today that all you have to do is put in the work one single time. And how we're going to do that is we're going to take the automatic millionaire approach. Now, what's so great about this book is that nothing is groundbreaking about this book. Okay, so David Bach takes a lot of ideas from a lot of other greats out there, such as namely George S. Clason. Okay, we'll talk about how that works with the automatic millionaire, doing it automatically when it comes to George S. Clason. But he takes, without getting too much into this book, he talks about a senior couple by the name of Jim and Sue, and he talks about how they set up their life automatically and was able to retire and become financially free by doing everything automatically. Okay, so as simple as it sounds, this book just talks about removing yourself from budgeting completely and making your payments and your savings happen automatically so that you don't see it. Okay, that's the beautiful thing about it. When you get paid, before your money even hits your account, if you set this up, you won't even see it coming, and you don't have to move it yourself. I feel like if we don't see it, we don't miss it. Okay, so like I said, nothing is new or groundbreaking about these steps. However, it was a turn point in my journey because it just had a different approach. Okay, it talks about paying yourself first at least 10%. Okay, and that comes from The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason, where he talks about part of what you earn is yours to keep, which means that you should be putting no less than 10% in your retirement or your savings or paying down debt or whatever you need to do. You should always be saving 10% or paying yourself rather 10% and then worrying about your other bills. All right. So in doing this automatically, you will be forced to live automatically off of 10% less of your income. So by the time you get your paycheck, 10% of it is routed into your savings or wherever you route it into. So by the time you look at it, you will see 10% less of what you generally make. And guys, the surprising thing is you will learn how to adapt to this very fast. Okay. And what I also like about this is that this method caters to the online world we live in. Okay, so we're not talking about cash. Okay, and I know I said cash is king. It still is king in my opinion, but we live in a world of online shopping and online. I mean, I literally just bought my groceries online and went and picked them up within 3 hours of doing it. Okay, so here's the thing. He talks about how humans aren't built to be disciplined creatures, okay? And that's why it's so hard for us to budget, because budget requires just a little bit of discipline, all right? This is taking you a step away from being disciplined, which means that, yes, you do have to put in the work initially, but if you set it up right, and you make minor adjustments as time progresses, you will be able to do this automatically in your sleep and you will be worry free. Okay. And like I said, my theory about money is, even though I talk about budgeting, I don't believe you should be budgeting your money. It should be about enjoying your life. Okay. So here's how it works. All right. Cause I want to take a few things from this. Here's how it works. Okay, so you create a savings or retirement account. Then you set that account to take away 10% of your money as soon as your paycheck hits. So if you get paid on Friday, you need to be automatically routing it out of your paycheck in a way that when Friday hits, okay, you see 10% less of your income, and that's what you use to pay your bills. It's that simple. So for example, 10% goes into my Marcus savings account. I do have a Marcus savings account. Best bank that I've had so far when it comes to savings. It is an online bank, so it does eliminate the need for me to go into a bank and take out money, okay? And if I do want to take out money, it takes a couple of days. But the way that it works is I have to set it up the Thursday before so that it processes the Thursday before, which is the day before I get paid. So by the time I wake up in the morning, it has already taken out money in my account. All right. So here's the way that you do it for your bills. So you find all of your bills, right? You find all of your subscriptions, all of your loans, all of your debts. Okay. And you set them up on auto pay, guys. We live in the 21st century. We live in the world of internet and e-commerce. I guarantee you that majority of the bills that you pay have some sort of auto pay feature, okay? And in most cases, you can save money because they like the auto feature, okay? And that's it. There's no more work to be done. You set it up and you enjoy life, okay? So things that make this a top, things like this make this the top way for me to when it comes to budget. So as you guys can see, I'm very excited to teach you guys this. I really love this method. All right. It keeps you on top of your credit cards and your loans so that you build credit automatically. Okay. You don't have to worry about who I got to pay, who I got to give money to. You've already given yourself money. Now you set yourself up on auto pay. Okay. In theory, this should be the easiest and least disciplined way to save and spend your money. Now, with that said, because with all great things, there are great things to consider. Okay. And those things to consider is number one, it is an immense amount of time to set this up. Okay. It requires that you know each of your expenses that's eligible to be individually logged, and you must be adjusting this accordingly. Okay. Number two is it can be very easy to forget what you pay, and it could result in overlooked expenses. Okay. So, for example, when I first set out on this budget, I set up all my things on auto pay. Little did I know that I had a tiny, tiny subscription. I won't say the name, but I had a tiny, tiny expense that came out, and it devastated me. It threw me off, even though it was very small. I think it was like $5, but because I didn't account for it, it overdrafted my account, and I ended up paying more in fees. Okay, so your first month is not going to be great, but I promise you, after the first month, once you know what's coming out of your account, everything is going to work out. Okay. Number three is it may not account for all of your money. Okay. So, like I said, as there are some things that are auto pay, there are some things that you just can't auto pay. Like, for example, gas. Okay. When you go to get gas, there's no way for you to automatically get gas. Okay. You have to put in your card and pay for that. Okay. So having extra, like, unlike the 50/30/20 and the zero sum budget, this can be dangerous. Okay. Because we want to be allocating most of our money towards doing something. We don't want it to just sit there. Okay. All right. Number four is you may incur late payments. And why? That's because sometimes payments, when you set it up on auto pay, it can take a while to to process. And this is via, if you're doing bank transfers, if you're automatically routing, such as a bank transfer, it can be very, very, uh, sometimes it may pay it too late or process too late. You might do it early or on the day of, and it processes late. So it doesn't process it until like 2 to 3 days later, and you get a late penalty for that. So just something to consider. Generally, I set my things up on auto pay. For example, my internet bill, I set it up on auto pay because I get some sort of a discount. It's like a $10 discount, but I end up generally paying for it at least 2 or 3 weeks ahead. So I always stay on top of my internet bill. But regardless, it is set up on auto pay for those days that I just can't do that. All right. And the last thing to consider is there is a high potential for overdraft. Okay. That's probably the biggest thing here. If you don't have so good months, okay, so like I was saying, this is considering that you make a set amount every month. Okay, God forbid you get sick, you don't come into work, or you come into work late and your income kind of dwindles a little bit, or your hours are reduced. Like I said, I'm not wishing that on anybody because I know how that is. But assuming that you don't have anything happen to you, this method works. But if you find that you have a not so good month, you definitely want to be adjusting, because if they try to take that money out, or they do take that money out and it's successful, you have a high potential for overdraft. And even if you have an online bank like me and they don't technically consider overdraft fees, or they don't have an overdraft fee feature, uh, you might get denied payment, or your payment might get declined. Thus, you might get late payments for that. It's just a whole cycle. So something to consider, okay? We're going to pause right here and see if we got any questions, guys. Let's see. Mom says thumbs down to overdraft. I know that's right. I once had to pay $300 in overdraft fees. That is something I have never told you, Mom, but I have once had to pay $300 in overdraft fees. And I paid it, but it wasn't too pretty. Okay. But that's the story of my life. All right. It doesn't look like we have any questions, but when I came across this book, in conclusion, by the way, when I came across this book, which I definitely recommend you read, and because I want you to read this book so much, I have linked it down below in the description. There's no affiliate whatsoever, so this is not an affiliate link. I'm not sponsored by David Bach, although I wish I was because he's an amazing person. I'm not sponsored. This is not an affiliate link. I had to shorten the link because the link on Amazon was very long, and I know you guys don't want to see that. It's just not pretty. So if you go to the link in the description below, you will be able to grab this book here. And right now, at the time of this recording, this book is $10. So $10 will literally change your life. And I stand by that, not being paid for this or anything, but because I really truly love what this book has to offer. Okay, it talks about making your IRA automatic. It talks about making your 401k automatic. It talks about all the things that you should be doing to have a successful financial journey and to become financial free. When I learned that you can do it automatically, of course it's like, oh duh, but this book opened me up to a world of possibilities and showed me that I can become financially free without too much work, and it's not that hard. Okay, so I found that I already knew things like paying yourself first. I read The Richest Man in Babylon, Save for Your Retirement. I listened to Dave Ramsey. But as dumb as it sounds, I never would have thought to make it automatic, okay? Now, with that said, I did have my alts when it came to this method, and I did have some issues when it came to this method, but overall this is a very great method. Like I said, I will show you guys this book again. I stand by this book. Okay, do I use this method? You'll be able to find that out later on this week or later on in this series if you're watching after. Okay, but that's all I have for this video, guys. I really hope this helps. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. And comment down below if you plan on using this method, which I really recommend you do. And if you do, how is it working for you? And also, if you have any other topics that you would like me to cover, I'm happy to see those below as well. Before you go, be sure to get a copy of my budgeting worksheet sent directly to you. I've been Izzy, your virtual mentor. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.